Here in 2010, the answer to the question which is better, a fiancé or spousal visa, has drastically changed than from years before. This presentation will discuss what you need to know to choose the visa that is best for you. My name is Fred Wahl, and I am the matchmaker and webmaster at the Heart of Asia Romance Network. We've been online for about 15 years now and have helped thousands of couples, usually from USA to overseas to Asia and Pacific, find each other and to get married and start families. Almost every day I get one or two phone calls from people advising me of their happiness, their success, and asking questions about the fiancé visa and spousal visa process. It's a bit complicated. It needs to be done properly the first time. I am not an attorney, nor do I work for the U.S. government. So, if you need legal advice, please go to an attorney or to the government. What I provide here is practical, useful advice. Before 2001, there was only a fiancé visa or a spousal visa, and the spousal visa was basically the same as the normal immigration visa. At the time, the fiancé visa took almost a year, and the spousal visa took much longer than that, sometimes a matter of years longer. Congress decided that was a problem, so they passed a law in 2000 which took effect 2001, and they invented the K-3 spousal visa. So after 2001, if you were married, you had two choices. You had the K-3 visa and the normal immigration visa, the conditional residency one. The K-3 was much faster than the normal immigration visa. It was still slower than the fiancé visa by a few months, sometimes a half a year, but far better than the normal conditional residency one. As time went on, immigration, Department of State, Homeland Security have greatly improved their processing of all visa applications and have done a very good job in making this a much more efficient system. So what's happened recently, now we're talking 2010, is that the time it takes to have any of these visas granted, the fiancé K-1 or the spousal K-3 or the conditional residency CR-1, takes about the same amount of time, 7 to 8 months. So to cut to the chase, the K-3 visa, which was to compensate for very slow processing on the regular immigration visa, now no longer serves its purpose because the regular visa it was there to replace is now efficiently done and is just as fast as a fiancé visa. Let's start with the side-by-side comparison of the K-1 fiancé, the K-3 spousal, and the CR-1 spousal visa. First of all, you need to get started by submitting an involved petition to Homeland Security. For the fiancé visa, it's the I-129F. For the regular CR-1, it's an I-130. And for the K-3, because it's somewhat of a hodgepodge of bits of the fiancé visa process and bits of the regular immigration process, you need to submit two separate petitions that are the same petitions you would use for either the fiancé or for the spousal visa. In the case of the fiancé, you could submit right after you've met your fiancé face-to-face. In the case of the spousal visa, obviously you can only submit after your marriage has taken place. The time between when you originally submit your forms to Homeland Security and the time that she can walk out of the embassy with a visa is running now for all these visas about the same amount of time, 7 to 8 months. Now for the fiancé, the K-1, and the spousal K-3 visa, there are 2 steps. The first step is to petition and get the visa to allow your fiancé spouse to enter the USA. And then adjustment of status takes place. So if we look at fees, the original upfront fees are about $1,000 for either K-1 or K-3, and a little bit over $1,000 for the conditional residency, the CR-1. But most important with the conditional residency is that since it already includes the green card, you're done. You pay $1,047. She gets her visa, she comes to America, she has her green card, she can live with you permanently. In the case of a fiancé or the K-3 visa, the adjustment of status petition needs to be filed after she marries you or takes up residence, and then there will be an additional fee to Homeland Security of currently $1,010. To obtain adjustment of status after the fiancé or spouse has come into the United States and taken up permanent residency, you would apply using a form I-485 to Homeland Security, and typically within 1 to 6 months the green card would be granted. Combining all of the government fees from the start of the petition process to obtaining a green card, which means your fiancé spouse can live permanently in America, the cost for a fiancé visa, government fees are $2,000. For the K-3, also about $2,000. But for the CR-1, the price is only about $1,000. So, given the opportunity, that may be the economical choice. Now, for anyone planning to get married overseas, please take note. The act of being married and having a marriage license does not mean that immigration will believe that your relationship is genuine. So, it is still completely necessary, regardless of whether you apply for a fiancé visa or a spousal visa, married or single, it doesn't make any difference, that you provide sufficient evidence that proves your relationship is genuine. The burden of proof is the same. A fresh marriage and a fresh engagement are all the same. What is better? Well, before, we always recommended going the fiancé visa route because it was considerably faster than a spousal visa. Now, that issue is moot. It takes just as long to apply for a spousal visa or a fiancé visa. It really should be a question of whether or not it is convenient for you to marry overseas. If it is convenient for you to marry overseas, then normally the CR-1 spousal visa is better because it saves you $1,000 and saves you the second adjustment of status petition. However, if it is not convenient to get married overseas, then you have one alternative, and that is the fiancé visa. The estimated costs that I cited here are based upon the Department of State's request to raise some of the rates here in early 2010. You can go to my website, fiancevisaservices.com, and there I will have an updated list of what the current costs are. So this may change depending on how long this presentation is on the web. If you need help in preparing a fiancé or spousal visa petition, please come to fiancevisaservices.com and I would be happy to help you. I also provide service where I will mentor and review the petition you may have prepared yourself and double check your work. And finally, I have written some ebooks that will guide the novice along the way to do their own petitions for fiancé visa secrets, spousal visa secrets, and adjustment of status secrets. These ebooks will all help you do the work yourself and save a lot of money.